All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to continue our discussing internal energy, a little bit using some equations and some other parts in this part 2 video of internal energy. So last time we talked a little bit about heat energy being worked on the entering the system is endergonic, and when energy is leaving the system, that is exergonic. And so here we have another picture representation of these two different types of systems. There isn't a way in which we can start making an equation. Not only can we use the change in energy, but we can also use the Q, which is the heat, and then W for work. And so we can say if heat is being gained by the system, that would be positive, and if it is work is being done on the system, that can also be positive. Now, these do not have to happen at both positive at the same time or both negative at the same time. One can have heat being gained, whereas work is being done. And so those things can happen, and so we'll need to make sure that we pay attention to the sign in which we have for our work or our heat, because ultimately that will affect the sign that we give our change in energy, which ends up being our final answer most of the time. As we see here, we have a lot of different what we can look for. If Q is positive, that means the system is gaining heat. That means it's entering the system. If it is negative, it is losing heat, and therefore it has exergonic tendencies. If the plus means for the work, meaning work is done on the system. Notice that we're always talking about the system in these cases. And then if the work is done by the system, that means it is a negative effect on that. When we see our energy, net gain is energy by the system, and therefore we also then have the net loss when it's a negative with that. So here's a good thing to use. Make sure that you are able to at least conceptually understand what we're working with when we work with some of these things, because it can be a lot of difficulty because sometimes we're not able to make measurements of the system, and instead we are able to only measure the surroundings, and so we have to be very mindful of that and really look at is what am I looking at the actual system, or am I actually looking at the surroundings, but when it comes to what sign I use for these different values. So we can go into this a little bit more and talk about internal energy with the endothermic and exothermic. These are, again, two terms that are very similar to the ones that we were using, and endergonic and exergonic. And these are the two terms that actually probably end up getting used a little bit more often, of endothermic and exothermic, as when we look at these types of reactions, because a lot of times that's what we're ultimately looking at is the thermodynamic properties or the thermo properties of the system and what's happening to that. A exothermic reaction can be usually is the one that we see a lot, and because the system is heating up the surroundings by giving off this fire. Now, the endergonic is a little bit different in that it is losing temperature, but it's because the system is the energy has to be entered into the system, and that's why it has a cold feeling of it, and that's because the energy is being pulled away from the outside into the system. And so it's actually when you have like the age-old saying of are you don't open the door in the wintertime, you're letting all the cold air in. In all reality, because of the way heat in our it works, is actually the other way around, in that you're actually heating up the outside because that's how energy flows. In that you feel colder, not because of the energy is being lost that you're using from it. And so it's a little bit different of a thought process when it comes to what's happening and what's the system and what's the surroundings. As I had mentioned earlier, these are going to be some with the equation that we had previously. We will again utilize our equations that we need. The equation that we're going to use again is our delta E is equal to our Q plus our W, which is our work. Entering these into the system, and so or into the equation, the system releases so much heat, and so in here we have 66.1 joules, and not the bling bling kind. And then we have the surround of releases that much, and therefore that would actually be a negative because the system releases energy or heat to the surroundings, while the surroundings do 44 joules of work on the system. And so that is actually going to be a plus for us on there. And so what is our delta E in this presence? And that we have a subtraction here. We see that ultimately I have a negative 22.1 joules of energy that has been released, or there's a loss. Therefore, it is exothermic because energy is exiting, and there's been an overall exit of energy, and we can see that by the negative sign that is associated with our answer there. Now here we are going to look at it a little bit differently. It says find the change in energy. Well, we do have a change in energy, and that is it's positive 0.73. So we know part of our answer is that it's endothermic, but what we don't know is some other parts, and that we have, again, our equation of change in energy is equal to our Q, our heat, plus our work. And so here we're going to utilize some things a little bit differently. And the system gains, so it has an overall gain of 0.763 kilojoules is equal to, and this is where I don't know what my Q is in this case. And that I have, while so much work is done by the system, and so therefore there is a loss of work. And now we do have to be very mindful of this, in that I have here, I can see that my joules and my kilojoules don't actually match up, and so I need to convert that to 0.84 joules to kilojoules. I'm sorry. Make sure I erase that here. And so I'd make it to kilojoules. So now that my labels are actually in the same amount. Now, to get a minus on the other side mathematically, I would need to add energy to both sides, or add 0.84 to both sides with that. And so by adding 0.84 kilojoules to both sides, I can find that there was an energy of 1.603 heat, and that would be actually a positive. And so there is going to be heat gained by the system through this. And even though it's endergonic or endothermic, I'm sorry about that. And so we have these little things, and so we can see and look that it's not always just because it's there, and so we still have those parts with it. Now, how do sometimes it gets up to there, and this is where things become very complex, and this is what sometimes makes thermochemistry the more difficult part, in that we actually sometimes don't know how to come about the internal energy. It's just too complex, especially for high school chemistry class. And so how it gets to where it's actually at is very much dependent upon where it started. And so if you don't know where it started, you kind of just have to go with, well, this is where we're going to go with, and this is what we're going to use as my status quo. And so the energy that is either released or gained is essentially the same, and especially if we are starting with it as ice, there's a certain amount of energy change to get it into water. It's the same amount of energy change here, but what internally is going on is going to be a little bit different. And so we need to look at as just as it is seen here that we see. And so from there, you do need to be mindful of, why can't we know this? And this is where paying attention to, okay, where is the energy that it had, and where did it go? Well, it was released to its surroundings, and sometimes that's what we can only measure, is the surroundings with that. And we might not be able to actually make measurements of this, say if you had certain other parts. So therefore, the internal energy is known as what's called a state function. And it depends on the present state in which it is, not the path by which it comes from, because we can't make those measurements sometimes. So the delta E depends really on your initial and your final when it comes to that. And so where some of those other equations that with the Q and the work being done, that is still very important, but it really comes down to where is it at now? What did it start with? What did it end with? And therefore, that's why it's a state function. And therefore, it depends on the present state in which we find it. And this is kind of where we end this talk about internal energy, and more start looking at how can we make measurements to help us understand this movement of energy as we kind of continue on through, as we will look more into this and actually start getting into and being able to do some labs, because it would be very difficult to do labs with this as a part of the thing. And so we kind of leave it here, and we will move on.